guys. Welcome to the summer school reunion panel. We have some incredible guests here today. Let's start bringing them out on the stage. First, we have Denise, Kelly Jo Mentor. Make some noise. Yeah, you might want to come around this way. There's stairs. Oh, wow, that's you. Oh, man.
I was just trying.
Kelly Jo Mentor jumping up on the stage.
You know.
I like it. All right, we have Dave himself, Gary Riley.
Yay!
All right. Coming up next, we have Chainsaw himself. Don't call him Francis. Dean Cameron.
Yay!
Oh, I'm gonna sit this one over here. That's cool. Where? All right.
Pushing.
Let's go to 11.
No pushing. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here, especially so early in the morning. This movie is like a religion to me. I'm a diehard summer school fan. I was wondering if you could, guys, start off. I'll ask a couple questions, wait for the room to warm up, and then as soon as I see hands out there, I'll start calling them out. So, can you guys describe where you were, like in your careers and everything, when you first got the script for summer school, when you first heard about the project?
Go ahead, Gary.
Let's see. God, that's a good question. Well, it's funny. When I was a kid, I used to call Paramount Pictures and say, getting myself into the business. Like as like a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, I used to call. Oh yeah, this is Paramount Pictures. And so years later, going actually into the studio for an actual audition was kind of like I'd made my dream come true.
Wow.
I remember thinking that.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. Kelly, Dean, you guys remember when you first heard about the project, about summer school, what your thoughts were?
Yeah, well, I'd been doing the TV version of Fast Times, and Amy Heckerling. Is this thing on? And Amy Heckerling was scheduled to direct Summer School, and
That's right, yeah. I was
Yeah.
going to ask about that, actually.
and Patrick Dempsey and Wallace Langham. She was going, you guys, there's this characters, Chainsaw and Dave, and you guys would be great for Chainsaw and Dave.
Who was going to be who? Do you
Patrick
know?
Dempsey,
Patrick Dempsey was going to be Chainsaw?
and Wally Langham. was
Wow.
Dave.
I love Patrick Dempsey, but I cannot see him be. I mean, I can't see anyone else being Chainsaw.
Oh, thank you.
But, you know.
But I was thinking, what about me? And so then, apparently what happened is Carl Reiner's movie at Paramount fell through, and they gave him pick of any script, and he picked Summer School. And so Jeff Franklin, the writer, known about me, and I'd worked with Mark Harmon the year before, so had Patrick Laborteaux and Kirstie Alley.
Right.
So it was my first movie.
Prince of Bel-Air, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Did a little research.
Well, research, cool.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do a movie, and that was it. And I remember reading the script going, this part's mine.
That's awesome. Kelly, do you remember what your first impressions were of summer school?
I remember walking down to Paramount because I lived down the street, this big street called Gower. And I was a PA at the Sunset Gower Studios, and I was starving. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting this. So it was just like, I just walked down the street, and I got this part. It was all surreal because, I worked behind the scenes, and I was just ecstatic, like, wow. I got this part,
Wow,
and
awesome.
it was a good part.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's always definitely a great.
Everybody loves Denise.
Everybody loves. Yeah, I mean, how
Now
can you?
everybody loves these guys.
Everybody loves the entire
Every
cast,
cast,
of Summer
yeah.
School. All right, there is not like a spot. Like people love the guy with the black hat who never says a line of dialogue.
Right.
Like, okay, people love this movie. So another one I wanted to ask is, can any of you guys remember what opening weekend was like back in July of '87? I think your main competition out of the gate, if I remember, was Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
And wasn't Lost Boys?
Lost Boys
Or
was
the
out, but I
following
think
week?
those were the two movies you guys opened the same weekend as
Yeah.
Superman 4.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember, was it like, with the premiere, or were you guys really excited, or were people, nervous, or what the vibe was like going into opening weekend?
I was very excited.
Yeah.
It was my first movie.
Yeah,
It was a
must-
big movie.
Yeah.
And I went with a friend of mine, this actor, to the theater in Westwood to watch it.
Okay.
And it sort of snuck out as everyone was leaving out. But this kid was walking alongside me. He goes, John Hughes is gonna love you.
That's awesome.
It's like, okay, I don't know what that means, but okay. And but it was cool. I remember going to see the
I think that was
poster.
probably 80s teen speak for like, you know,
You're
kick-ass
in.
job, man.
Yeah,
You're
or
in,
something.
yeah.
I don't know. But
Um,
he didn't. Dick.
Kelly, do you remember?
I was in Lost Boys as well.
Oh,
and,
so yeah. That was
but
a
my
huge-
part was cut, but you know I got the little main title credits, but whatever.
Hey?
You know what? I was pregnant at the time,
That's right.
so you know I was just focusing on having my baby.
Wow, I guess that would
Yeah,
kind of,
so,
take
yeah.
over, you know.
I also remember that Paramount, because I was gonna hire a publicist and try to really parlay this into something, but Paramount was like, no, we're gonna take care of it, and then did nothing, and then
Oh,
Lost
man.
Boys sort of took over the cool summer kids thing and just sort of
Oh,
fizzled
man.
out.
Wow.
Here
I
we
guess
go.
the shuffle of 80s Paramount was
Yeah, I don't know what the hell.
pretty tough times. So another one I wanted to ask is if you guys remember any deleted scenes or anything like that that wound up on the cutting room floor. That because we've never seen anything like that on DVDs or anything like that. I've heard a little bit of talk about a scene where Shoop teaches Papa's Got a Brand New Bag.
Right.
Lyrics to that.
Right.
You guys remember that scene?
Yep. You could see the lyrics on the board behind him. I think when he hands out this, he assigns something.
I think it's right before the Cool Dude.
I think of the
sunglasses
cool dude
part.
stuff right to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a little sweaty. He's a little sweaty, and you can see the lyrics on. There's that scene. There's also a scene where we ask Anna Maria to marry us.
Oh.
We run out. She actually does take her top off.
And they cut it, right?
In the ocean, yeah. And we run out and propose to her. And there's another scene where Shoop drives me home after the party, and I throw up on my dad.
Wow. Now I
know
really
that.
want to
Yeah.
see that fucking scene.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's a funny scene.
That sounds awesome.
Can I tell you a funny story about the? I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah,
No
yeah, by
choice.
all means. Please do.
So the
please do.
day that Fabiana was to take her top off, we were shooting in Malibu at this beach, and that was the day that just coincidentally every executive from Paramount decided to visit the set.
Gee, I wonder
It
why.
was- I remember looking up on the parking lot, and she was freaking out, which was sort of weird. But so Carl Reiner said, "Okay, everybody has to stay way back." So up on the parking lot were all these guys in suits.
With their arms on their chest.
Yeah, just like trying to get a glimpse of the heavers, but it was just so stupid. Like, you guys just rent a porn film or something. I don't know.
But Fabiana was really, I could tell, sort of shaken. I could tell.
Yeah, she was very bummed about and Carl Reiner and Carl Reiner said, "I'm Carl Reiner. I'm not gonna be horrible about this. It just." You need to just show, I'm not going to do it. Trust me, I'm Carl Reiner. It was very funny.
Oh, man. That is classic. We touched upon the Cool Dude shades in that. Did any of you guys get to keep your Cool Dudes?
Cool Dudes Inc., please.
Cool Dudes Inc., that's right. Much respect. My apologies out there to the fine folks at Cool Dudes Inc. and their affiliates and partners.
Power of the pen.
Power of the pen, that's right.
I think I have the box, actually.
You have the box.
The box.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Okay. Anybody warming up for any questions out there yet? Got still a little cold. All right, I'll keep running with it here. This is a good one. Have you guys ever thought about where you see your summer school characters in 2017? Like what Chainsaw Dave and Denise would be up to today?
Well, I have 4 sons, and I have homeschooled. I've had them in private school. I've had them in public school. They've been to summer school. Wow. You know what? I'm living. I think I'm a testament to that. As far as, you get a good teacher, somebody that believes in you, and it goes a long way. 'Cause I know there was a teacher that said something to my son, one of my sons, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait you out in the office because you are not gonna, put a negative connotation, because kids remember stuff like that, So I'm definitely a proponent for advocating for your child in school. You know, get to know your kid's teacher. You know what I mean? And you don't have to take no mess. It's kind of like they don't want you in the classroom. Oh, cool. I'll be in the classroom today.
Yes.
I've done it all.
I think Chainsaw and Dave would be running an effects studio.
Yeah.
If not a studio and just
Or a bowling alley in
running
Inglewood.
Hollywood. They'd be doing something together. Yeah.
I like to think Chainsaw and Dave would have, definitely
either flown
won a couple
high
of Oscars for makeup effects,
or
you know.
crashed low. Yeah.
High or crashed low.
Literally, people have told me watching Summer School, it is not summer until I've seen Summer School.
Absolutely
And
right. It's not
these
winter, fall, or
guys-
spring until I've seen Summer School either. But
and these guys right here, honestly, I mean, yes, people, they come up to me and, wow, Summer School, but they say that one scene with us in the car,
I was gonna just
They-
about to ask about that actually.
they love that.
That is a great scene. Do you guys I mean, how much fun did you guys have filming that scene? Any memories of that or?
I have great memories because these guys were like, honestly, it was like, we're getting paid to do this.
That's awesome.
We're really getting paid to do this.
That was one of my favorite scenes in the script.
That is
Yeah,
great.
I love that scene.
I love the thing where you're looking
Right.
and she's looking forward, and you're like, was that like a, did you guys like work that out, or was that just kind of like
No.
one of
No,
those
she
happy
didn't know. I was
accidents?
just doing it.
Wow. Okay.
Because I'm a horrible passenger. That's how I am. I'm the worst passenger. So just
The backseat rear view
tapped in.
mirror checker.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, you don't think, wow, Carl Reiner, Dick Van Dyke. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, now I'm older, and I'm like, this dude is like a major legend.
Oh,
And I
yes.
mean, he was so nice. It was just the vibe on the set. Everybody was so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe I was getting paid to do this. But these guys were crazy. And they just made it fun. I mean, it was like we embodied those characters.
Absolutely.
And Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley. I mean, everybody. I've gone on to do. I did another movie with Shawnee Smith, but I mean, everybody was incredible. There was no like drama. People
Right.
no, wasn't none of that. It's
Yeah.
great.
Awesome. Yeah, it is a fantastic ensemble. And speaking of the ensemble, Summer School was made in the big era of 80s music video tie-ins. And I think all of you guys appeared in the music video for E.G. Daly's Mind Over Matter.
Right.
Where do you guys think that video ranks in the pantheon of like 80s music movie tie-in videos, which there are literally like thousands?
It's a very it's a good point of reference.
Good point of reference
What not to do,
for what not to do.
but exactly what everyone was doing.
I mean, I'm a very nostalgic person. I love the Summer School soundtrack, but I could understand.
It was originally Debbie Harry, by the way.
And it's in Europe. It's with Debbie Harry. I think the European release. I did a lot of research. There's some sort of rights tie-up or something with Elizabeth Daly, E.G. Daly's,
Right.
contract or something. And I think somewhere else in the world they hear Debbie Harry when
Oh,
they watch
wow.
Summer School.
That's cool.
As far as I know, at
I
least.
knew it. Yeah.
According to like IMDb or some,
IMDb, what is that?
websites. What's that?
I might die.
Oh yeah, what is that?
Bored.
Right? It's the.
I am what?
I might die bored.
Oh, okay. or in a car crash in Queens, New York.
Yeah, exactly. The rumor.
Yes. Well, you touched upon this a little bit before, but what do you guys remember about the parent scene, big parent scene at the end? I mean, you touched upon, throwing up on your father, which I have to see now.
Well, you can see us cracking up because my dad was so funny.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
When he said "boist into tears,"
Yeah.
we just were
Yes.
laughing. And that's why I put the tie in my mouth so I wouldn't laugh. Because he is just so funny, that guy.
Oh,
Star.
man, he's great. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
and
a great
then
actor.
a couple years later, he's Goodfellas,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like, wow, Chainsaw's dad's a fucking badass.
Badass,
Like, better not fuck with Chainsaw's dad. Where was I at here? I'm losing my place. So one thing I wanted to ask you guys about, in my research, I happened to watch Siskel and Ebert's review of Summer School from 1987.
Oh.
I was wondering if you guys, did you all get together and watch that?
Yes, we did.
And
Patrick Laborato's house.
Patrick Labato's house, and how was that? How was
It
that
was
night?
funny.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know,
What was the review?
Bad.
Was it?
Yeah.
they weren't diehard fans.
No.
They were not as big a fan as I am, and you know we are here. But you know these.
They were
you know,
wrong.
They were dead wrong. I mean,
Exactly.
they loved Speed 2 and a lot of movies that are rather questionable. Speed 2, Cruise Control. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, we're still here 30 years later talking about it. I think they even said, like, you know, oh, ask these kids to give them a test in a week and they'll forget what movie they saw. And it's like, no, I don't think so. 30 years later, we're still talking about it. I thought it was kind of funny. So, another thing I wanted to ask, Summer School, it's one of those movies that's like still on TV regularly. Like
Yeah.
still, like I didn't even have to like grab my DVD or anything to do research. It was on like almost every night. Like Summer School's on, I'll watch it again. Like, you know, can't get enough. So I was wondering if there was ever a point, you know, later on, like maybe in the 90s or at some point where you guys realized, like, wow, this movie really has legs. Like people are still, like 10 years later or however many years later, like they're still talking about this. Or was that kind of like just a slow kind of churning thing where you realize, like, wow, this movie's becoming a classic?
You know, I felt like I just thought the script was so good that it seemed like it was a no-brainer that it would be a classic. It seemed like a classic when we were making it.
It's perfect fodder for rerun. You know?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just, it's
definitely,
one of
yeah.
those things you can come in at any point and enjoy it.
Yeah, no,
You know,
absolutely.
But but yeah, about the mid '90s, I realized, oh, that's a thing, and you know, every day someone would chainsaw make me, you know, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
That's awesome. So do you guys have any stories about that? Ever watching the movie on TV and, you know, thinking like, this is, you know, at any point that you realize, like, wow, this really is, you know, movie's got legs?
Well,
or-
my dad was a high school teacher, and every year at finals, someone would do Tension Breaker.
Really?
Yeah, and sometimes I didn't know. Sometimes I didn't know he was my dad.
Oh, wow.
But he would call me every year and goes, "Some fucking kid screamed at finals again. Thanks."
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, some little asshole
Appreciate
kid.
that.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Like that it sort of
Yeah.
warmed into high school, you know, and
That's cool.
people did that.
I think there's actually videos of people doing tension breakers on YouTube.
Awesome.
I think it is like a big thing.
That's great.
I'm serious. Like I think I was doing that, and then like it's just like a whole slew of like videos on the side of like random guys doing tension breaker. I'm like, wow.
Oh, I had to
like,
check that out.
Yeah, there's definitely.
Well,
some
one of the
stuff.
cool things about doing these conventions is we meet people who were inspired to get into special effects makeup by
Oh,
Chainsaw and
sure,
Dave, which
yeah.
is really cool.
Oh man, I
Amazing.
can't. You know, there's probably I'm sure we've all seen like countless things from kids that grew up like Chainsaw Dave,
Yeah.
Chainsaw, you know, do the effects scenes. Do you guys remember working with the prosthetics and stuff like that? And was it a coincidence at all who did that work on the film?
Anyway,
Well, I figured, you know, Carl Reiner had such a huge budget that, you know, Rick Baker,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, no expense was spared, I think.
yeah. Those scenes were great. I remember, I think the first time I watched the movie, I thought for a second, like, oh, this might be a horror movie now. Like, this might be the point where, like, because I was, you know, maybe 6 or 7 the first
Right.
time I watched it. And then when I realized at the end that was, like, them fucking with everyone, I was like, these are the coolest fucking dudes ever.
Awesome.
Like, this seems great. Another thing I wanted to ask, I understand there was a little bit of trepidation about the title at the time. Do you guys remember anything like that, or anyone thinking this is like, you know, gonna be some, you know, skin flick or anything, you know, a bunch of like girls wearing bikinis at the
Yeah.
beach or something like that?
Well, I remember we'd be on location and people would say, "What's the movie?" And they go, "Summer School." And they go, "Oh, one of those." Like, no, and I go, "No, Mark Harmon is in it and Carl Reiner's directing." And I go, "Oh,
Yeah.
who cares?" But yeah, so I'd say I'm doing. And I remember I went to England before it came out with my girlfriend, and I was telling this dickhead in England I did a movie, and he was just going, "Oh, Summer School. Oh, what's that?" And I go, no, Mark Harmon, Carl Reiner. I didn't know Carl Reiner.
I kind of want to watch like a summer school with like people like that have that kind of commentary. Like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
this summer school.
But yeah, that was it was a thing.
Oh wow. Anybody warming up, guys? Want to Throw anything out there? All right, I guess I'm running. I'm running with it. I just don't want to hog the mic. You know, you guys are fans too. I want to give you a shot. Next question actually for Gary. Before you worked for Carl Reiner on Summer School, you worked for his son Rob on Stand By Me.
Right.
I was wondering if that was, something you ever talked about with Carl, or if, you noticed some similarities in their directing styles, things that maybe have been passed down from father to son at all.
Well, I do remember being in the room actually with Dean and Carl Reiner saying, "Oh, you work with my son Rob," and I said, "Yeah, great guy."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I think someone was at one of these other panels I watched. Someone was telling a story that Carl Reiner was like, "Oh, my son Robbie made a movie. Like, you got to check it out." And he was Stand By Me.
Yeah.
And he was like so humble about, "Oh, my son Robbie." Like, "Oh yeah, like Rob Reiner." Like, you know.
Well, that was that was the drawback of working with Carl Reiner. Was he'd say, "Yeah, my friend Dick, like my friend Dick had a problem drinking." I was like, "Oh, that's Dick Van Dyke. He's talking about Dick Van Dyke." Like, and my buddy Mel and I, we used to do this skit, and like, "Oh, that's the 60,000-year-old man." And so he wasn't he wasn't hurling
No.
names around. He was just
Yeah.
talking about his friends.
Yeah, he wouldn't be like, "My buddy Dick Van Dyke from the Dick
No.
Van Dyke Show."
The legend you're talking
Yeah.
about? The legend? Yeah, no, that's cool.
Speaking of legends, the character of Chainsaw wound up becoming quite a legend. I always had this thing about Chainsaw where I feel like it was like the perfect nail to like a certain kind of character that maybe other people were trying to scratch the surface of in the 80s. And then in the 90s, I feel like they were like putting these like Chainsaw-esque characters and like, as the main character in all these movies. And I was wondering if you ever kind of picked up on that watching, like Pauly Shore movies in the 90s or any like, certain types of movies where, you know what I mean, that it's like, kind of, it's very Chainsaw-esque. I've seen a lot of those kind of things.
No, I heard is it Matthew Lillard used to do some sort of homage to Chainsaw in
Really?
movies? I don't know. I
Oh
heard
man,
that.
he was our last con. I wish I would have known that at the time. I definitely would have asked him about that.
I don't know that that's true because I've never seen any.
Wow. Crazy. So another one I wanted to ask is for Kelly. Obviously, at a horror convention, you get a lot of Nightmare fans. Obviously, a lot of people on the stairs fans. I was wondering if you can always spot the difference between like summer school fans versus like your traditional horror fans. If there's, if they approach you differently, or if the interactions, different at the conventions.
It's really crazy because I was telling these guys, hands down, they're like, even though it's something for Nightmare on Elm Street, they always ask me about summer school. Always. And I'm proud of that film. You know what I mean?
Great.
And I'm truly people. I mean, it varies, but it's like there's a whole another generation watching that movie now.
Definitely.
So it's no, it's just the same thing. It's like even though it's a comedy, everybody asks me about summer school and about these guys. So I'm so happy after 30 years we're here together. So this is awesome.
Yeah, this is all. We're so excited to have you guys. We're so stoked. Thank you so much for coming out. Another one I wanted to ask is for Dean actually. Where did the pronunciation of Tobey Hooper come from?
It just seemed like a good idea at the time.
You were like, I'm just gonna. So you just kind of ad-libbed that?
Yeah.
Wow, that wasn't in the script. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another one I want to ask you guys about actually, because I understand originally in the script there was a little bit of a different setup with the movie you guys were obsessed with.
Right.
And do you guys remember that at
Yeah.
all? What the original movie was and stuff?
Yeah, it was Freaks.
Freaks.
And it was a nice, it was a nice tie-in of, the script was a little darker, and we were all a little edgier. And
Yeah.
I think Amy Heckerling would have done a very different movie.
Really?
Probably a little hipper and cooler than Carl. Carl sort of smoothed the rough edges out. And that was one of the things with Freaks. And I remember going to see it at Paramount with him. And Freaks is
Yeah.
fucking weird.
Yeah.
And that end, and there was a whole thing, and the end, instead of the chainsaw, it was like the duck lady that we were talking about, the duck lady at the end. And I remember Carl Reiner go, I can't have this in my movie. And Jeff Franklin, and Jeff Franklin was like, and so we were walking, and Paramount, I go, isn't there sort of a thematic tie-in? Jeff's like, yeah. because we were the freaks, and it was all about the freaks. I mean, but it makes sense that we screamed.
So in the original script, when the movie was Freaks, was your character still called Chainsaw?
Yeah, it was still Chainsaw and Dave.
It was still Chainsaw
And
and
we were
Dave.
still in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but our favorite, the movie we wanted to screen was Freaks. And,
Oh, okay.
and we talked about Freaks a lot.
Oh wow, that would have been, I guess, a quite somewhat different scene.
Yeah.
The way that would have played out in the movie, I guess. I'm losing my place again here.
Do
So
you remember that?
Oh, what's that?
I don't.
You don't remember that?
This is like news to me. This is like, wow.
Well, you know, one thing.
It's so interesting, but you guys, your characters were, it's, all this backstory. It's interesting. It's like, it's the first time I'm hearing about it. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what happened, Kelly.
Actually, one thing-
Kelly was originally supposed to be able to fly. And had a jetpack.
It wasn't. I thought it was a rocket
Yeah.
thing. It was a jet. Well, I guess it's the same thing.
But do you guys see what I mean? It's like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what made the film. It was so, yeah.
Well said, Kelly.
Yeah, right. Thanks, man.
So, you guys touched on this a little bit, but that it was originally set up as an Amy Heckerling film, and they offered it to Carl Reiner. Was that like, is that how she kind of fell out of involvement with the project, or did things with her fall out prior to them giving it to Carl
No,
Reiner?
I think Carl Reiner had some other movie set up at Paramount.
And it's just like, he's Carl Reiner, we're giving it to him. Like,
Yeah, and it died, and I'm sure that however they make the deals with directors, he had a guarantee. It's like,
Oh, pay or play deal kind
Yeah,
of thing.
so-
Yeah,
I
so
had
they're
no
like,
idea.
pick one of these movies, yeah.
oh,
Wow.
okay, wow. I wonder if Amy Heckerling's like ever watching the movie on TV. Like,
No, I
fucking-
had I actually had lunch with her after the couple weeks after the movie came out. and
Oh, wow.
She was very complimentary. and,
Oh, that's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, she was very
That's
cool.
really cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, if
Yeah,
you
you
judge
did,
by
you
her
did a
movie,
good
she's
fucking
biggest
job
movie.
with that thing. Yeah, it was good.
That's awesome. That's great. So, I want to give it a chance to get you guys to talk about a little bit, some of the stuff you guys got going on nowadays. Dean, I think you recently reunited with Richard Horvitz, who played Ekian, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about what you guys are working on these days?
Yeah, we're chronically unemployed. Me more so than Richard, but instead of griping about no work, I thought, well, there's YouTube and we've got cameras available, so we do this two projects. One called Dickhead Fireman, which is pretty lo-fi. We get a bunch of my friends together at a green screen studio and a couple iPhones, and we've just come up with little like horrible things that firemen do, like just horrible dickhead firemen,
Great. Yeah.
and just improv these horrible, like there's a woman's giving birth and they're trying to convince her to have an abortion, like it's not too late.
Have you thought about it? Thought through?
Stuff like that, yeah. Like,
No,
no,
I won't- yeah,
like you
those
can
are-
give it up. And then a sort of higher end thing is called Some Kind of Joke, which is I take classic jokes and shoot them as narrative short films. So they're both on YouTube, and
Yeah, for you guys,
hundreds of subscribers
any guys out there watching?
in the hundred of views. So
Any of you guys watching out there in YouTube land, check it out. Dickhead Fireman and Some Kind of Joke. They are really funny.
they're pretty funny.
And then you had reunited with Stuart Fracken in that as well, right?
Yeah, Stuart's done a couple. Ken Allman. Wait, did Ken? No, Ken couldn't do it, but yeah, Stuart's done some. Yeah.
Guys, you get the whole summer school cast in there.
Love to.
Dickhead Fireman Summer Training or something. Summer fireproofing course. So another question I wanted to ask Gary. No 80s film is complete without like crazy, insane, wild 80s fashion choices. And I think you might be Denise in that category in summer school. Was there ever any outfits you were wearing that you were like, Carl, what the fuck, man? Like, or you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna own this. Like, I'm gonna, make this ride.
I think I made it right because I
You
think
definitely made it right.
We all had our own choices.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No one was really telling us what to pick and choose, so we just did it.
Oh, okay. So I just put my foot in my mouth pretty and another one I want to ask you too, actually, a couple years before summer school, you were in a made-for-TV film called The Jerk 2, which was a sequel to Carl Reiner's The Jerk. I was wondering if.
Oh yeah, that was like a TV show with Mark Blumenfeld, I think his
I
name
think he
was.
was. Yeah.
Oh,
Did you?
wow.
Is that something you ever talked about with Carl, or did he like know, like like give it my sequel, or
No, I don't think it ever came up.
I don't think it ever came
It's
up.
just like a 1 week shot.
Well, okay.
Gary was also in Spinal Tap.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, Spinal Tap.
played Taphead.
Yeah, you got some pretty epic IMDb credits, my man. So another one I wanted to ask Kelly, and I've been told, you don't have to tell us who, but I've been told that you were parodying a particular actress in one scene in summer school. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It was the run-up to the classroom horror scene. When you run out of the room with all the fake blood on you, and
Right.
you're crying, and the substitute teacher's coming in.
Who would that be?
You were
Yeah.
doing an impression of Laura Dern crying.
Oh yeah.
So she does a figure 8 with her mouth when she cried. We were talking about it,
Yes.
her crying in mass.
Oh my gosh.
That's
And I was
Laura.
in Mass too,
Yeah, she's in
with
Mass.
Laura Dern.
Should've-
That's, yeah, I remember that now.
Just
Hey.
added you. Sorry,
Hey.
Laura.
Hey
That's
guys.
sort of, sort of like dared her to do it. She's like, okay.
Oh my God.
That is great though. Now that I know that, it
So
like adds
funny.
even another little added level. of
She's
appreciation
Dolores
for that.
done fine for herself.
Yes, she has.
Oh,
my
man.
gosh.
So
Remember that.
Yeah.
another thing I wanted to ask about, in my research, I've discovered that Dean, you recorded an audio commentary for summer school with Patrick Labatow and Richard Horvitz, right?
Right.
I tried finding that online,
Yeah.
and it's been taken down, or the link's broken, or something.
Some 14-year-old Russians hacked the website.
Russians
I don't
again.
know. But I had this idea. I think it's a good idea, and I just have no follow through. It has this website called Odd Comment, which you could go back and movies that you don't. Nobody is going to do audio commentary to do. People could get together and do their own audio commentary.
That's
So we did one
That's
for summer school
cool.
and did one for ski school, and some writers from Sleep With Me got together and did it. But at that point, the Russians took over, and I just said, fuck it. And a better person would like ask all their friends to do it, but I hate asking my friends to do stuff like that.
Well, I think
But
that is.
I can send it to you if you want.
Oh yes, I definitely
Okay,
want.
because I have it.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, I definitely want that. Actually, one of the guys at the con was like, you can find it. You just gotta like hack the internet, encapsulate it. I was like, encapsulate it? What does that mean? He's like, when you search, put it in caps. I'm like, you mean quotes or caps? Like, what are you talking? And I fucking tried searching for that thing every way, and it just kept bringing back to Odd Comment and the
Yeah.
thanks for taking down. But I think that's a really amazing idea.
It is
Like, you should definitely run with that. I
Yeah,
think that
I
would
should,
be
but I
awesome.
won't.
Because there is, it's, like it's one of those things that like I love when you see fan-made documentaries of movies that like even movies that the studios are repping and loving, like even Back to the Future, like that the studio's not like shy of promoting that, but still you have a fan base that's so rabid, like we're gonna make our own documentary, and you're starting to see that now. With a lot of like cult movies and stuff like that. I was wondering if that's something you guys would ever like to see for summer school, like
Yeah.
one of those like no holds barred, like like the Nightmare on Elm Street documentary that's
Yes.
like 3-4 hours long, and I've watched that like
It's
more than once.
amazing.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did a Friday the 13th one that's like 7.5 hours long.
Still trying to get through it.
Oh, you know what? All it took was one fight with an ex-girlfriend, and I like went downstairs and watched that all night. I was like, totally like, we need to fight more often. Like, this is awesome.
And they even have something coming out now by fans, for fans, called Fred Heads.
Fred heads.
Yeah. Another kind of documentary. The fans are doing it. So, yeah.
Wow.
People that are fans, hardcore fans, they want to see it. They want to know all the nuances.
Oh,
you know?
definitely.
So,
Well, one of these days, someone's gonna have to put together the ultimate summer school documentary.
I
because
hope so. I'm down.
I think you can Kickstarter that and make a bundle. I think there's a lot of people out there that want to find out more about summer school.
You mean the special features on that DVD weren't enough?
No, the one lone commentary was not enough with Carl Reiner and Mark Harmon. That if there's ever a movie you want the whole fucking cast,
Right.
that's Summer School. You know what I mean? It's such an ensemble movie, and everyone is so great in every role. So, definitely send me that commentary for sure. I'll edit together a loop of that and the Carl Reiner, Mark Harmon. We'll start
There you
adding
go.
people in.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just get one guy at a time, and I'll just start cutting it together.
Great.
if anyone's just, we'll cut out the silence. If anyone's talking about anything that's not relevant, we'll cut that out too. So, one thing I wanted to ask about is we're almost out of time here, but one scene that I really love, and it's kind of character defining for all you guys, is the person I admire most scene. In your case, Denise, the person you admire, Kelly.
Love that.
Oh
Sorry.
my gosh.
Andre.
The person, Andre.
Oh my gosh, that's so gnarly because I really did have an ex-boyfriend named Andre.
Oh my God, I was gonna ask
And
that
that was in the
actually.
script, and I'm
Did he
like-
dress like Rick James' little brother?
You know what? Actually, he was the bass player in Prince's band.
Wow.
Shit. So he really did like.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, Andre, thumbs up, because Andre's a great guy. But that was just so ironic. Like, yeah, it was there. I said the lines, but it was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
And of course, we filled in the blank with very, very, very much. So.
Which is a technique I tried many, many times in my, student career. And, I think one teacher was into it because they were a summer school fan. They actually let me pass that whatever paper it was that I had to write. They're like, okay, I love summer school too.
Yes.
But you have any memories from that scene, Dean?
Just all the varies.
Just all the
Yeah,
varies.
it was in the script. It's good. It's funny.
That was a great, I guess that seemed great. All right, guys. Well, unfortunately, we're about out of time, so let's give a round of applause for this amazing cast, guys. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
here.
you so much.
No, you guys were great.
Appreciate
Really
it.
appreciate it.